Stop me if you heard this one before. Someone hurts you and the church tells you just turn the other cheek. And honestly, it feels like you're being told to be a doormat. It feels like you're being told to let people walk all over you. But what if I told you that's not what Jesus was saying? What if I told you that turning the other cheek was actually an ancient method of defiance? Today, we're going to be decoding the cultural secret behind Matthew 5. And it's going to completely change how you handle conflict in the 21st century. So let's dive in. Okay, we live in a culture, a clapback culture. If someone trolls you on X and you destroy them in the comments, if someone sues you, you countersue. It's an eye for an eye type culture. And Jesus addresses this directly. He says, do not resist an evil person. Now, I want you to think about this. Now, hold on. They're using that word in English. Do not resist sounds like do nothing. It sounds like surrender, but the Greek word here is antistonai, and it specifically refers to a violent military revolt. Now, Jesus isn't saying give up. He is saying don't fight evil with more evil. Instead, he gives us 3 life hacks from the first century on how to stand up for yourselves without losing your soul. So here's example number 1, the slap. Jesus says, if anyone slaps you in the right cheek, turn the other cheek also. Here is the part that your Sunday school teacher missed. In the first century, the left hand was considered unclean. You didn't use it for anything social. Now visualize this. So if I am going to hit you with my right hand and I hit your right cheek, visualize it now. I have to backhand you in order to do so. A backhand wasn't a fight. It was an insult. Masters backhanded slaves, Romans backhanded Jews. It was a way of saying, you are beneath me. But if you turn the other cheek, now my backhand does not work. In order for it to work, to hit you now, I have to use a closed fist. And in that culture, hitting someone with a fist meant that you are fighting an equal. By turning the cheek, you are forcing the abuser to acknowledge your humanity. You are saying you can hit me, but you cannot humiliate me. Example number 2 is even wider. Jesus talks about being sued for your shirt or your tunic. He says, give them your coat or your cloak as well. In that time, men wore 2 layers, a tunic and a cloak. If you give your creditor a tunic, your tunic, and your cloak, guess what? You're standing in court, stark naked. Now today, if you're naked in court, you are in trouble. But in the ancient Jewish culture, get this now, in the ancient Jewish culture, the shame of nakedness fell on the person looking at it. And by stripping naked, the debtor turns the trial into a circus. He is actually shaming the greedy creditor. He is showing the whole town, this man is so greedy, he literally stripped the clothes off my back. It is a form of aggressive, non-violent protest, and it exposes the system. And finally, we have the extra mile. We use this phrase all the time to mean working hard, but the context in which it was used was for brutal occupation. Roman law said a soldier forced a civilian to carry his gear for exactly 1 mile. But, and this is key now, it was illegal for them to force that person to go further. So picture the soldier's face when you hit the mile marker and he reaches for his bag and you say, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna walk another mile. Now, suddenly by doing that, you're in charge. And why are you walking? Not because he forced you to, but because you chose to. You've taken your power back. Now, Jesus drops the mic. One final command in verse 42. He says, give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. Now, I want you to be honest. When you hear this, do you panic? We think, wait, does Jesus want me to be broke? Does he want me to be a sucker? But remember the context. Always, always remember the context. If you don't remember nothing else, remember the context, the original audience, what everything meant to them as they heard it. We cannot apply fully 21st century thinking or culture on first century issues. Remember that, okay? Remember the context. First century peasants were being taxed to death by Rome and exploited by their religious leaders. And the natural human reaction to that kind of scarcity is to hoard, is to keep it to yourself, is to clench your fist and say, this is mine. But Jesus says no. He is teaching an economy of resistance. When you hoard, You are agreeing with the oppressor that resources are scarce and that you have to fight for every scrap. But when you give freely, you are declaring that you trust in a different provider. He isn't saying enable bad behavior. Don't get it twisted. He isn't saying give an addict money for drugs. He is saying do not let your possessions of stuff become a barrier between you and another human being, as you can bless them with your resources. In a world that tells you to build walls and guard your assets, an open hand is the most radical protest of all. It says you can threaten to take my stuff, but you can't threaten me, because guess what? I was already willing to share it. The first three examples, the cheek, the coat, the mile, is to stop violence. The last example of giving starts the healing. It builds a new kind of community where people take care of each other so that the oppressor doesn't have to. Now, so what does this look like? On Tuesday morning in 2025, it's called breaking the script. When a toxic coworker steals your credit in a meeting, the first thing or the first way is to scream at them. And the second way is to go home and cry. Now, I've been there, not crying, but screaming. But the third way, you publicly thank them for highlighting the team's success. Because you kind of saw this one team, one fight. If they're going to take that credit, everybody knows that you did the work. You publicly thank them for highlighting the team's success. You kill them with the kindness. You expose their pettiness by displaying their own faults and displaying your own security. When an internet troll attacks you, you don't have to block them. You don't bite back. You respond with disarming grace that makes them look unreasonable to everyone watching. You are refusing to mirror their hostility so that you can become a mirror to their conscience. You stop being the victim and start being the leader in the conflict. So why does this matter today? Because we think our only options are fight or flight. We think we have to be aggressive bullies or passive victims. Jesus offers a third way, a way that requires strong backbone and a sharp mind. To turn the other cheek is to say, I am your equal. To go the extra mile is saying, I am free to do whatever I want to do. It's not about weakness. It's not about reclaim. It's not about weakness. I'm gonna slip up here. It's not about weakness or being a victim. It's about reclaiming your dignity in the world that tries to take it away. Now, friends, if you want to learn more about how to apply this kind of biblical wisdom to your actual daily life, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and let me know in the comments, which of these metaphors surprised you the most? I am Jeremiah with INTM, keeping it real and keeping it biblical. I'll see you in the next one.